today because Graf will put her under increasing pressure as the match goes on.
Now, this tournament has gone according to script. 14 singles matches, no upset, which leads us to Flink's forecast. Will there be an upset today?
Well, Bruce, no, I do not think so. I think Steffi Graf will win the match 6-4, 7-5, 6-3.
Steffi Graf, Martina Navratilova, #1 in the world against #2 in the world. Championship of the Virginia Slims in Madison Square Garden. We'll come back with all the action in just a moment.
Two players left, all right. Steffi and Martina. Martina, once the leading lady, now in supporting roles, but still dangerous. And how popular she is in this building at 33rd and 8th, Madison Square Garden. She's just been a winner every year, except 2 finals, losing to Sylvia Hanukkah and Tracy Austin. And last 2 years, of course, Joanne and Steve, a slump when people said it's all over for Martina. She lost to Sabatini 2 years ago. That was when, you remember, she felt that she was carrying on a people's campaign. In other words, Steffi Graf was entrenched at #1 in the rankings, but Martina felt, and I agreed, that if she won the Wimbledon and the U.S. Open after all over Steffi, which she did do, if she could win the Virginia Slims, she could have a claim to #1. Wouldn't you have agreed then?
Yes.
In the people's hearts, not on the computer.
You're right, Bud, but she would have made a great case if she would have gone on beat Steffi in the final, but by losing to Sabatini and Steffi coming back to win it, the case was closed.
And she said so afterwards. She said, I guess that's it. I had my chance, and she played a sloppy match. So last year, she played another sloppy match, led Sukova, and people were downcast. But here she is back in the final, and let's go down to our man, Bruce Beck. I was going to go down to Bruce Beck, but apparently he's in the dressing room giving a pep talk to one of the coaches. So on the monitor, who else would that be besides Madam Promoter, always so well-dressed, Ella Mussolino, fading out to the left, but Billie Jean King. She was Mother Freedom for the Virginia Slims, the first year of a full schedule for the Slims. She played and won more tournaments than anybody before or since. And her partner, a young woman you'll be hearing of, I believe, is Chanda Rubin of Lafayette, Louisiana. And they're going to play against Billie Jean's one-time doubles partner, Rosie Casals, with her back to us, and Kim Kessaris, a young professional out of Hendersonville, North Carolina. So this should be a lot of fun, letting you see 2 genuine all-time greats, Billie Jean King, who is in the International Tennis Hall of Fame at Newport, Rhode Island. And I suspect, wouldn't you say, Steve, that Rosie Casals will be there one day once she finally stops playing. She still appears on the circuit now and again.
Sure, I'm sure she'll join Billie Jean in a couple of years, as deservedly so.
Yes, on her doubles record. And she did, remember this about Rosie, she won the first Family Circle Cup back in 1973. When Jack Jones, a promoter from Los Angeles, decided that women should be paid serious money. He put up $100,000 purse, and Rosie won it. Now Bruce has come out of the dressing room. He's given both fighters their instructions, and here he is.
Thank you, Chanda Rubin, Kim Kessaris, the 2 youngsters on display in today's opening exhibition match. First of all, Kim, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where'd you grow up?
Well, I'm from Hendersonville, North Carolina, and that's where I started playing. I've been playing ever since I was 5.
5 years old?
Yes.
What was it about tennis that attracted you to the sport?
Well, it's just, I guess it's an individual sport and the competition and the challenge, and I just like to go out there and have a good time.
What's your greatest achievement thus far?
Probably winning the Australian Junior Open this year.
Okay, Chanda Rubin, you're going to be playing with Billie Jean King. Are you going to carry her?
Well, I would probably have to carry me.
How old are you?
13.
And where are you from?
Lafayette, Louisiana.
When did you start playing tennis?
I was about 5, and my parents played, and I'd go out with them every day, and gradually I started getting better, and so I got into group lessons.
Well, what is it like being at Madison Square Garden with all the fans watching you at age 13 taking center court?
It's just undescribable. It's great. I just love it.
Okay, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Good luck to both girls.
Thanks a lot.
We'll see you during the match. we're looking forward to bringing you this exhibition match between the legends and the stars of tomorrow. Back at Madison Square Garden for our coverage in a moment.
Always a treat to see Billie Jean King and Rosie Casals, an all-time great doubles team, and Lee Jackson, who was for years the tour referee and umpired so many matches of importance on the Virginia Slims tour. And she comes back to the chair. And Billie Jean, you'll look, there's a lot less of her than the last time. She's lost over 50 pounds. She determined to get back. She wasn't feeling good. And she thought, gosh, I'm an athlete. What am I doing with all this excess weight? And she was up over 190.
Yeah, you know, she is an athlete. We've played a few softball games. Billie Jean could have been an unbelievable shortstop. She had great hands. She caught every ball, and she could throw like you wouldn't believe.
She says that's why she became such a great half volleyer.
Yeah, I can see that because it's all hands and timing.
And it's wonderful to see her. And Rosie Casals, the Rosebud.
And Billie Jean and Rosie played in the 35s this year, the Pringles Seniors Women's Doubles at the U.S. Open. It was kind of fun seeing them playing together.
Oh, it's always wonderful. But their opponents today, Rosie Casals with Kim Kessaris. Kim is a 16-year-old who has turned pro. And before you say, oh, another one of those kids dropping out of school, she did not. She finished her schooling last May, 2 years early, at Heritage Hall in Hendersonville.
Straight A student.
Yep. And she won a round at Wimbledon. Did Kim Kessaris, beat Natalie Ehrman, good French player.
French player, right.
And then on center court in her second match played Steffi Graf. And she said, what a wonderful thrill that was. And how nice the Wimbledon people were. Alan Mills, the referee, took her out and walked her around center court hours before when it was empty, just because, as you know, Joanne, there's something different about that court from any other court in the world. What is it?
Well, it's the feeling. First of all, there are no advertisements out there. When you look in the back of the court, everything is dark, dark green. There is nothing to distract you from playing tennis. And then the different color of the court, which blends into the dark green background. And all the gentlemen in the royal box, they never take off their coat unless the Duke removes his first.
Which has only happened twice in the last 20 years when he went topless. Fortunately, I thought he might be wearing a dickie, but he did have a shirt on.
Chanda Rubin, 13 years old. The thing to watch about her, Steve, she has a great serve. And usually juniors coming up who have good baseline games forget about the serve, they forget about the volley. And I watched Chanda today in practice with Billie Jean, and she has both. She's working on both, and she is going to be darn good player.
I'm looking forward to watching her.
#2 nationally in the United States in the 14 and under, behind Nico London. Although Chanda did win the national championship. London was upset in an earlier round, and we got to know her a little bit down at the Easter Bowl at the Doral in Miami. That wonderful junior tournament in April that Sina Hamilton runs, and Chanda was there playing London in the final of the 14s and not winning, but it was a good match. And she goes to the Episcopal School of Acadiana in Lafayette, 9th grader. Her father, Ed, is a lawyer, and her mother, Bernadette, teaches elementary school. We'll be back to see the legends against the kids. Actually, they're split up in just a moment. So we're watching with great enjoyment Billie Jean King serving to her old partner Rosie Casals as Chanda Rubin misses an overhead. Well, it won't be the first or last. And Kim Kessaris is over here, but we are waiting, of course, for the culmination of the 80s, really. The last women's match of the 1980s, the Virginia Slims Championship. Two former champions, both anxious to regain the title. Martina Navratilova, who has won 7 times, and Steffi Graf, who has won once. So they'll be coming up. It will be a best-of-5 set final. Unique in women's tennis.
Billie Jean King has not lost much on her volley. She may have lost a little foot speed, but she still has fantastic reflexes, and you'll see today.
Now Rubin puts that one away.
Well, Billie Jean isn't serving badly either.
No, she has a nice smooth motion. Really, nothing's left her serve.
So that's the first game, and we're going to go down to Bruce again. Bruce Beck.
Billie Jean King isn't even breathing hard. You look terrific. You're really moving quickly.
I'm moving quickly, but I'm breathing hard. I feel good.
Is this the youngest partner you've ever played with?
Oh, I think so, just about. I think Chris Everett probably is the other one, but I think this is the youngest.
So what are the things you've told her? Do you have any game plan for this match?
Well, we practiced about an hour before, all 4 of us, and we all talked about volleys. We talked about serving and getting even with your partner on the first volley. So we actually had like a clinic before we played this match. It was fun.
How much do you play these days?
I try to play at least 5 times a week now. I love it.
Do you have to get back to the other side, or are you going to take a break, or what?
Here you go, Bruce.
I can take over.
All right.
I have a good
Good what?
forehand grip.
Actually, it's quite useful.
Okay.
Very impressed.
I think you'll take that. I'll hold on to the microphone. Good luck to you.
Thank you very much, Bruce.
All right, Billie Jean's ready to go. I don't think she's ever lost one of these exhibition matches, but oh, she has. All right, we'll check in with Rosie Casals at the next break. Time permitting. Back upstairs.
Thanks, Bruce. Bruce does. I never thought Bruce had a grip on things, but he does have a forehand grip.
I'm glad he said grip. I mean, I wasn't sure what he was going to say there.
Rosie Casals at the line, the 5-footer. Out of Sausalito, California. And Rubin puts it on her toes. We said to Chanda Rubin, did you ever hear of these 2 players, Billie Jean King and Rosie Casals? It's well before her time. Oh, she's, oh, yes, yes.
As a matter of fact, Chanda brought Billie Jean's book with her because she wanted to read all about Billie Jean King.
The new one, We Have Come a Long Way?
No, it's an old one.
Oh.
Which talks more about technical things about tennis. And so I said to her, I said, Billie Jean's right there. Why don't you go get her to sign it? Because it was her coach's book.
Good.
And I said, you can take it back to him. She was really thrilled. She was excited to be playing with Billie Jean King.
Well, that's great. Yeah, Billie Jean and Cindy Morris Starr wrote a wonderful history of women's tennis called We Have Come a Long Way. The Long Way Babies and Billie Jean, they couldn't have done it without her. With her personality and her talent.
Well, they certainly have come a long way. Shriver and Navratilova winning the doubles last night and splitting $45,000 for the winning team of the doubles.
Oh, boy. I well remember the time when I was chairman of the U.S. Women's Indoor Championships in Boston, Joanne, and it wasn't that long ago, and we heard about a player named Betty Stova. She was playing what they called the Caribbean circuit then, and I got a hold of her on the phone, and I said, we'd like to have you come. It was amateur days then, but you did pay some expenses for some of the players. I remember Billie Jean King came. We gave her a round-trip plane ticket from Los Angeles, found somebody to feed her. I said, we don't have much budget, Betty. I said, I can give you a bus ticket from Fort Lauderdale to Boston, which then was about 30 bucks. She said, I'll be there, and I'll bring 2 other Dutch players with me. Well, Chanda eyeball to eyeball with Rosie and wins the exchange.
Chanda Rubin, 13 years old. She is working on a lot of different things in her game, and one of them is her volley, and she's not doing too bad. I definitely was not this good as a junior.
How about as a senior?
I don't know. I think her groundies are still better than mine. Now, I got to say, I had a good volley, but ground strokes ain't.
You had a wonderful volley, and still do.
Chanda, she beats me there every time so far. I like her strokes.
You're always out volleying Leo Levin, I know that. Kessaris with a put away. Her great uncle, now here's a bit of trivia for you. Her great uncle, Sandy Kessaris, a schoolboy football player out of Beverly, Massachusetts, was in the same Brown University backfield as Joe Paterno, the coach at Penn State.
They get any tickets to the Penn State Notre Dame game?
Probably for face value. Well, it's 1-all.
1 game all. Chanda Rubin serving.
Rosie and Billie Jean won their first U.S. doubles championship together in Boston. That's when the national doubles was played there in 1967.
Love 15.
I talked about Chanda Rubin's serve, and here we'll have a chance to look at it. 13 years old. She has a very nice motion, and she hits it with a lot of authority.
Love 30.
Looks like a very reliable toss, too, Joanne.
Yeah, and isn't that the key to a good serve? Boy, if your toss is off, your serve is off. Nice hat.
Yeah.
Cold outside.
Love 40.
Well, break points against Chanda. Billy Goldstein in the second row. Co-promoter of the event with Ella Mussolino.
Game Kessaris. They need 2-1.
So, a break of serve, and we'll break for this commercial.
Who has won over 20 Grand Slam tournaments and also has over 500 career victories. What do you think of the girls that were your contemporaries?
Well, I think it's very good, very nice to see Billie Jean and Rosie back playing. Billie Jean seems in very good shape, so I know she's been working hard with Martina. And I think it's a good opportunity for the youngsters to have a feel of this great place.
How are you doing? Are you still playing tennis?
Yes, I'm doing fine. I have been playing a lot of tennis, a lot of exhibitions, and winning, you know, a few tournaments in doubles.
How old were you when you first went out on the tour?
I think I was 14.
What's your feelings on players going on the tour, 12, 13, 14, 15?
Well, I think they're starting so young now, you know, that they're getting so good. By the time they're 13, 14, they're veterans. You know, if you just look at the girls that we have at the top 10 now, everybody's, you know, Steffi at 20, she seems very old. You know, when you look at people, they're all 13, 14. I hope they go a long way.
All right, final question. What's your greatest moment in tennis?
Well, I think winning Wimbledon was my biggest victory, my biggest thrill.
Thanks for sharing some thoughts with us.
Thank you.
Let's go back upstairs.
How nice to see the Sao Paulo Swallow, Maria Bueno. How graceful she was as she flitted about the court. Marvelous Wimbledon champion. Of course, she won the U.S. title, too, when it was played at Forest Hills. And she's a member of the International Tennis Hall of Fame at Newport, Rhode Island. You've been there, Joanne.
I definitely have.
Steve, I know, has.
Yes, Bud, but you just made me think about the match that Maria played against Rosie Casals in the semis when she won her last U.S. title in '66. Still remains one of the best women's matches I've ever seen.
You weren't born then, Steve.
Barely.
Maria Bueno's game is...
I didn't see you that day,
reminds me
Steve.
of Yvonne Goolagong's game. They have
Yes.
the same flowing strokes. Beautiful.
Chanda Rubin with the Statue of Liberty play there. She went up for the smash, then let Billie Jean King sneak around and take the ball.
Well, you know, it's a smart play. Billie Jean King, I have seen her many times in mixed doubles push the guy out of the way and say, mine.
I know it.
And it was a good play.
I know it. And I've played with her a couple times. That's all I ever said was yours, 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 yours. Billie Jean King, 20 Wimbledon championships, singles, doubles, and mixed. That's the record.
Of course, 10 in the women's doubles, but and then another 4 in the mixed and 6 in singles.
And 5 of those women's doubles titles with the woman she's serving to now, Rosie Casals.
Billie Jean King still has that same easy flowing motion. And the one thing, there are not too many, you know, when you ask ex-players, whatever, who you would have paid money, most of them say Billie Jean King, that they would pay to watch Billie Jean play.
I would. In fact, I think I did.
Absolutely. When I was a kid, I paid to see Billie Jean King play in St. Petersburg. And she was amazing. She can do so many things with the racket.
Oh! So Billie Jean holds the serve. And we'll be back. So, we're waiting for Martina Navratilova and Steffi Graf, but it's a pleasant wait. As Rosie Casals serves, she and Kim Kessaris leading 3-2, as the garden is rapidly filling up. Yesterday, over 17,000 customers, which was a Slims Championships record for a single session. And perhaps they'll top that today. The end of the decade. Think of it, the last women's match of the 80s. What do you suppose was the first? Something in Australia, I suppose. Maybe not. The season then.
No, that was at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Would have been somewhere on that indoor
on the Slims tour.
Right.
San Francisco, maybe, or
Virginia Slims of Washington, maybe.
Possibly.
Is usually, sometimes that's actually. Oh, and there's my sister, Lee Russell, to the right. Oh, she's enjoying tennis. And that's her partner.
You may have paid to see Billie Jean King, but I know she didn't pay to see this.
Well, they had a job last night that ended at 3:30, took the train this morning, and got here at 10 o'clock. That's why they're yawning a little bit. My sister said, no way.
It's not that they're listening to us, no.
No.
Okay.
They just, Andrea and my sister Lee are the 2 biggest tennis fans women's tennis has.
Tell them to pay the next time. I'm surprised.
They know somebody.
We stumped Steve on that one. I thought he'd come up and say, oh, yes, the first tournament of the decade was in Oakland or something like that. But net cord, he didn't. So it feels good to me that there's one question he was not able to answer in 6 days of telecast.
Well, but I'll answer it. For sure, it was the Virginia Slims of Washington, because we used to
For sure?
For sure.
1980.
1980, because...
For sure, you
For
say.
sure, I am positive, because it used
That's what for sure means,
I never missed... I mean, I always missed New Year's. And then the Virginia Slims of Washington started
Well, if
right
that's
after
true,
New Year's.
Steve and I will each send you $1.
Now, we know, though, that it was under different sponsorship then, 1980. But I bet you're well right about Washington.
Could be. I'm going to look it up tomorrow.
I know,
and I'm going to send you $1.
in the midst of you two, I'm never right, but for one.
But will you send us $1 if you're wrong?
Yes,
okay.
positively.
All right, fine.
We've got witnesses.
Putting that on my list right now. First tournament of 1980.
I was waiting for Rosie to hit that between her legs.
She can do that.
She can.
Look ready.
She looked ready, but I don't know. If you swat yourself in the knee, you're incapacitated. Sabatini is the one who does that the best. Yannick Noah popularized it, but Gabriella Sabatini can do that.
Yannick Noah, I saw hit the best shot like that. Here at the Garden, remember, Steve, against Stefan Edberg? He went back and hit a screaming winner.
The Masters.
Just get it back.
I saw Gabriella Sabatini do it playing Chris Evert in a match at Amelia Island, hit it between her legs when she was totally out of the point, and Chris was so surprised She hit it back down the middle of the court, and Sabatini got back in the point.
Chanda Rubin serving. She's got a long way to go. She'll be playing in the Easter Bowl again this year at the Doral in Miami.
Well, I remember Steffi Graf playing on the circuit at 13 years of age.
Yeah.
And she was just a stick.
She sure was.
She makes Chanda Rubin look like a heavyweight. That's how thin Graf was. And I actually played in a tournament in Germany, the Porsche tournament that we have there. And Steffi Graf was playing next to me, and she was 10 years old. And I was warming up for a match. And I called my agent and said, I can't believe how good this little girl is playing next to me. She's 10 years old. I hope I'm dead before she gets on the circuit. Needless to say, 2 years later, she was out there beating me. But I was really excited. I couldn't believe how good this little 10-year-old was.
So Chanda Rubin, Lafayette, Louisiana. She said, I said, can you ever get a good game at Lafayette? She said, yes, if I play against some of the college men from southwestern Louisiana.
Is southwestern Louisiana, is that where they have the good quarterbacks from?
I can't tell you.
Is that where Terry Bradshaw went, southwest Louisiana? Anybody a football fan up here?
You got me on that one, Joanne.
I was waiting for Steve Flink. Hey.
I don't know anything about football.
Put in a call to Leslie Visser.
Well, we've heard from an authority. It's Louisiana Tech. I'm wrong. But
Brian Williams is an authority? Oh, okay.
But I'm a football fan. "13 years old, playing in Madison Square Garden."
I don't know if anybody younger has ever been on this court. I doubt it, but...
All girls and ball boys.
I remember I saw Tracy Austin playing before a pro tournament in the 70s out in Los Angeles, and she couldn't see over the net.
Nice serve by Chanda Rubin.
I had a similar experience, but with Andrea Yeager when she was only 10, watching her play Robbie Weiss before at Virginia Slims of Chicago.
Well, Robbie's on the circuit, doing fair, I guess.
Really well.
Andrea's retired.
And Steffi Graf is still playing. Ooh, what touch! Chanda Rubin serving, and Billie Jean King. It doesn't matter where you hit the ball, she can make a play at it.
So, Bruce, are you there?
Yes,
with
I'm
another
here.
all-timer, the Rosebud.
Rosie Casals won the first tournament ever on the tour back in 1970. You remember anything about it?
God, barely. I'm trying to, you know, it's a long time ago, and it keeps coming back. But, yeah, it was very little money and very few players, certainly not the level that we have nowadays.
Still having fun playing tennis?
Oh, yeah, I still enjoy it. It's great exercise for me and keeps most of my pounds off, but I need a long way to go. I'm going to be like Billie Jean next year. 1990 is my year.
You know, we've talked throughout the week about the Navratilova-Shriver doubles team. What about King and Casals? You won 5 Wimbledons together. What made your team so special?
I think the combination. I think that we both believed in one another. We were able to raise our games, and Billie Jean was a great leader. I mean, she was someone who said, look, we could be down 5-1, 40-love, and if she said we're going to win, I really believed her, and we always won. I mean, it was incredible, just her pushing you, and I think we just pretty much made a pretty good combination.
It's great seeing you on the court. You're up 4-3. Good luck.
Thank you. I've got a heavy-duty server coming up right here.
Rosie Casals. Now, while we have an opportunity, let's chat with our chair umpire, Lee Jackson. You know, a lot of kids grow up in a chair, and Lee's still in a chair. How many years did you call matches for?
I've been in a high chair all my life.
Do you still love it?
I love it. As long as I can climb into here, I'll do it.
Are you a woman of controversy?
Never, never.
You have a match you have to run right now?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Nice to see you.
It's nice to be back, Bruce. Thanks.
That was going over the entire loudspeaker, by the way, so everyone knows that Lee Jackson was brought up in a high chair and is still in a high chair. We'll take a short break. We'll come back. We have the real tennis still to come. The Virginia Slims Championships Finals. Stay with us.
Serving with a 4-3 lead. Her partner is Rosie Casals, who is part of the Houston Rebels, who played in that first Virginia Slims Championship back at the tail end of 1970. And Gladys Heldman, then publisher of World Tennis Magazine, agreed that the women, to get a fair shake in the world of tennis, had to split off on their own. The men weren't going to give it to them. The men still don't know what to do about women's tennis. They've scheduled the ATP Finals next year in opposition to this event, which is incredibly obtuse.
I agree with you, Bud. And they're not giving any good reasons why they did. Oh,
well, they made a stupid decision,
yeah.
And they ought to, and once reminded of it, should get with it. They made the stupid decision on South Africa, and they finally got around to rescinding that. But the men have never been as quick as the women in tennis. Which makes me a reverse sexist, I guess.
I guess so. I kind of like it, but it's pretty unusual.
It's the truth.
It's pretty unusual.
The women have always been more responsible to the game of tennis than the men.
Well, because we have to.
Well, that may be it.
And, you know, when you're always trying to catch up, so to speak, you have to do things the right way. And Virginia Slims is a sponsor that has done things the right way throughout the years. They run the tour better than anyone we've ever had.
Well, it's the best run tour in the game. Well, Billie Jean, I've seen her miss a couple overheads.
I've been hit by a couple of those overheads. Didn't quite have the old reflexes.
Billie Jean, 39 major titles, singles, doubles, and mixed. That's number 3 on the all-time list behind Margaret Court, who had 62, and Martina Navratilova with 52. Martina still with a faint chance to overtake Margaret Court.
Well, Martina says she wants to play 4 or 5 more years.
Well, if
she wants to go to the Olympics to play doubles. And the best way to keep yourself in, you play those tournaments, keep winning. And Martina, geez, the way she plays doubles. She won a tournament last year with Rosie Casals, who does not really play all that much, but she won the Virginia Slims of Oakland.
Whoops!
Martina just needs to find the right mixed partner, I think, if she's going to break the record. But
that's right.
She could be winning a ton of mixed doubles titles with just any number of men.
Well, the thing is, the men get nervous playing with her.
Yeah.
They really do.
Plus, she's got to go to the tournaments now. I don't think next year she'll play the Australian or the French.
That's true. Which I think is a pity. I think it's a shame. I think she should be playing all the Grand Slams. And I understand her emphasis on Wimbledon, but I wish she'd support those events, at least in doubles.
Yeah. Yeah, go over there. Don't put any pressure on yourself in singles. I can see that. Go over and play doubles.
Well, it's easier said than done. You know, you'd like to go to a tournament and play single. I mean, you'd like to go over and play doubles and mixed. But the pressure over there, the tournament promoter, and the rest of the people, every time they see you, how come you're not in the singles? And after a while, it just gets a little wearing.
I know, but I think they'd be glad to have her. If she stated explicitly,
absolutely.
I'm coming, I'm only going to play doubles, she'd sell a lot of tickets for them. Rubin! Well, maybe let's see. She's 13. She might just be in this tournament in about 5 years. In with the big kids.
Yours.
Look out.
Billie Jean King standing there going, hey, hit me.
We're having some fun at Madison Square Garden, waiting for very serious stuff. Steffi Graf and Martina Navratilova. They played in the 1986 final. Martina won it. Then Steffi won the title in 1987, lost to Pam Shriver a year ago in the semifinals, and Gabriela Sabatini won the title. Gabriela was removed yesterday by Navratilova, or by Graf in 3 sets, 6-1 in the third, while Navratilova beat Arantxa Sanchez Vicario. So, on they go a little while longer, and we shall return to the carpet at the Garden after this. So, Rosie Casals and Kim Kessaris. We have experience versus youth in this match. Casals and Kessaris, and King and Rubin. Billie Jean King, Chanda Rubin. So we've got a lot of maturity on the court and a lot of youthful verve from the mature ones, and a lot of youth in Kessaris.
Kim Kessaris grew up playing against Monica Seles. She was ranked number 2 behind Seles in the juniors.
In the World Juniors?
In the World Junior ranking, she was ranked 2 behind Monica Seles.
That's not bad.
No, not bad at all. Now Seles is knocking him dead on the Pro Tour. And Kim has just turned pro.
Yeah, Kim's computer ranking, she says, is 138th in the world, and she, of course, hopes to build on that.
Well, 138 is not bad when you just jump on the computer. Hey, you know, it's amazing. Some of the young players who come on, they really skyrocket, but not everyone's like that. And so, you know, give Kim a couple of years, see how her ranking does.
That's right. She's young. I don't think she should live and die by the ranking at that age.
No. Really what you want to do is play some tournaments, get some experience. And she did say, well, I'm having a little trouble getting in the doubles. And the thing is, in the doubles, you have to find somebody to play with you who's got a ranking.
Well, Kim lost to Steffi Graf 6-2, 6-1 on center court, second round of Wimbledon, and that's not bad at all. I imagine you go out there wondering, am I going to get a point? Am I going to get double bageled? And there it is. Rosie Casals has defeated her old doubles partner with a lot of help from Kim Kessaris. Casals and Kessaris over Billie Jean King and Chanda Rubin. And that is our memory lane match, but we're going to have a very up-to-date battle, Graf and Navratilova, very shortly. But right now, let's go away for this.
Welcome back to Madison Square Garden for the $1 million Virginia Slims Championships. Coming up, the big match of the tournament, #1 seed Steffi Graf against #2 seed Martina Navratilova for the championship of 1989. Hello again, everyone. I'm Bruce Beck. Welcome back to Madison Square Garden. It's been an exciting week of tennis action. There have not been any upsets. 14 matches overall, and things have gone according to script. And finally today in the finals, the #1 seed, the #2 seed have advanced, and Martina Navratilova will meet Steffi Graf. Steffi Graf has beaten Martina Navratilova 3 consecutive times. This will be their 14th meeting. Navratilova leads the series 7-6, but has not beaten Graf since 1987's U.S. Open. All week long, Martina Navratilova has been focusing on this match. She's been looking forward to it, and she has reached the finals for the first time in 3 years. Matter of fact, she reached the semifinals for the first time in 3 years. So it's the classic matchup between Graf and Navratilova. We asked Martina yesterday about her first serve and if she has to get it really on target to win today.
Not the way I started in the second set. First set, it was a little marginal, especially the first couple of games, a couple doubles. But at least I was going for them. They were good double faults, not the wimpy ones like I had earlier. So I think I need to get a few more first serves in. But you know, overall it was pretty good. I'm happy. I lost my serve once, and the other time I was never even in trouble. So.
Do you want Steffi Graf in the final?
I'm glad I'm there. It's going to be a great match. Obviously, Steffi is the favorite, but Gabby has beaten her. I'm ready for either one. I'm just glad I'm in the finals finally, and see what happens.
Steffi Graf is #1 in the world. In this tournament, she defeated Yana Novotná in the opening round, then Helena Suková in straight sets. Yesterday, she was extended to 3, but still defeated Gabriela Sabatini. In that match yesterday, Steffi Graf came to the net often as she continued to put pressure on Gabriela Sabatini. After the match, I asked Steffi why she approached the net so often.
Well, I had to, especially on her serve. They were sometimes not strong enough, so I could have gone, and I did, like I did it in the third set a little bit more. And the result was good. I mean, I was making a lot of important points on it.
So up next is Martina Navratilova tomorrow in the championships. What's your thoughts going in?
Well, I'm just extremely happy to be in the finals. 2 weeks ago, I just didn't have any idea I could play, and now I'm here in the finals, so I'm just going to enjoy it like I did the other couple matches and just try my best.
Dominance has been a theme all week long here at the Virginia Slims Championships. Martina Navratilova dominant from 1982 to 1986. Steffi Graf dominant since August of 1987. And so the decade ends with the two players who have dominated the Virginia Slims Championships over the past decade, Martina Navratilova and Steffi Graf. It's rather fitting that it's at Madison Square Garden in New York City, a place where hopefuls become champions and champions become legends. Upstairs to Bud Collins, Joanne Russell, and Steve Flink.
Thanks, Bruce. Is there one more significant singles championship left within Martina Navratilova? Well, people thought so if they were sitting at Flushing Meadow for the final against Steffi Graf when Martina won the first set 6-3, had the serve, a break of serve, and a 4-3 lead when she went to the baseline to serve again. She held up 2 fingers, meaning only 2 more games. She got the 2 more games, but they weren't in the right sequence, and she lost in the third set. Now we come down, Joanne Russell, to the Virginia Slims Championship. It used to be